Hey yo, what is up? Your boy is back with another WWE pay-per-view review, sort of, because today we are talking about Backlash 2003. Now, Backlash is coming up here in a couple weeks, so it's only fitting that I go back and talk about one of the prior Backlashes, and why not start with 120 20 years ago. So I did Extreme Rules that happened 10 years ago. Going back, we're doing Backlash 2003. And yeah. So let's cover this. Goldberg debuts on this show. So let's talk about it. The show was kind of a big deal at the time. I believe I wasn't actually a fan at the time, so I don't know. That just sounds like it was because Goldberg was going to be here and the crowd was pretty hot. The Rock was on it, so yeah. Let's talk about it. The show started Team Angle versus Los Guerreros, and this is a really good wrestling match. And you don't really see too many tag team matches like this nowadays, where it's like you don't see like all the dives and stuff out of the ring and everyone's jumping on each other and piling up. No, none of that here. Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, they're wrestlers, dude. They actually use wrestling moves. So there's like a lot of arm ringers and stuff in this, and tackles and takedowns. Los Guerreros, they kind of controlled the match early. Eddie was mad over in this match. People were super into him. And yeah, so they kind of control Los Guerreros. They used a lot of the lucha and influence in this match, which was really awesome. And then to see how the Team Angle, they were like cheating and stuff, like switching in and out when the ref wasn't looking and holding the Guerreros and stuff in the ropes, and yeah, just using a lot of cheating tactics and stuff, and that ultimately kind of cost Eddie and Chavo the match because they tried getting them back, but the ref caught them, and that's a no-go, baby. And yeah, so this is a really good match. I believe Eddie, he hit a frog splash at one point that looked amazing, but he wasn't actually the legal man, and then he got all pissed off, and yeah, and I can't remember how exactly. I think they hit a roll up or something on Chavo, and then Charlie Haas kind of held Eddie on the outside, and that's how they won the match. So yeah, Team Angle, they retained their tag team champions, and moving on to another tag team match, which is the Raw World Tag Team Champions at the time. Because I can't remember what were the SmackDown championships called? Were they called the Undisputed? And then there was the World Championship Tag Team Championships over Raw. I'd really have to watch that. I'm gonna watch a lot more from 2003 because I kind of buffer a lot on that time period. So yeah, we'll talk a lot more about that time. Just moving on here. So yeah, RVD versus Kane. Now I do know they were a tag team at the time because I used to have the Kane Twisted and Disturbed Life of Kane DVD. And yeah, so this, I believe they had a few of their matches on there, and this is really good. They wrestled the Dudley Boyz, and the Dudley Boyz are awesome. Very early 2000s with how they were dressed, and yeah, you can just see that here. RVD's moves are still kind of untouched. The way he like does his flips and his kicks and his insigurities, and like how he'll do like a flip into a leg drop and stuff, and it just looks really cool, and you see why people loved RVD because he was the man, baby. Yeah, so Kane, he eventually gets the hot tag, and then he kind of is running wild on the Dudley Boyz, who like they got RVD in the ring for a while. Man, I think it was a while. I mean, Kane, he only spent like 10 seconds in the match for the first half of it, and then finally gets tagged in, runs wild on him. He's going for like a double choke slam, but then he like throws him over the ropes, which looked really cool. And Devon was like killing it this match. That flying headbutt came to RVD's crotchy hit was awesome. And yeah, he was just lighting it up. So this guy, Chief Keaton, he was the special guest referee, and I don't know anything about him. Like, I don't know who the frick this guy was or where he came from. But yeah, I'll have to look him up because yeah, I had no clue. That's how like a lot of these guys were. There was like generic big guy in the early 2000s with like short cut hair, and they're just built. Who was that other guy's name? Matt Morgan. He was a lot like that. So yeah, just really interesting. So yeah, Kane hits the choke slam. RVD frog splash wins them back the match after the Chief Keaton and Dudley's. They kind of have their disagreement in the ring. They hit 3D on him, but then they ultimately lose. Another referee hits the ring, gives Kane and RVD the win. So yeah, I really liked Mass Kane, and this whole look at and his like Kane was super cool at this time, just really athletic, jacked, strong, and really fast and agile for such a big dude. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this match, and I thought it was really, really awesome. Next up, so I kind of mentioned this in my last review for the Extreme Rules 2013, where it was Randy Orton versus the Big Show, and it was kind of a big man versus little man, and the little man had to sleek him. This here was Giant versus David, Goliath versus David, and yeah, Rey Mysterio not nearly as big as the Big Show, but he was in really good shape here back then. And yeah, so he's like sprinting all over the ring, trying to stay away from the Big Show. Big Show like duck down. Rey Mysterio come off the top ropes, hit him with a drop kick or a kick and stuff like that, just trying to keep the Big Show off of him. And then he hits like a bunch of 619s on him. So yeah, and the Big Show, he really countered that awesome with some big power moves. And yeah, it was really good to see the speed versus the power aspect. And they did a phenomenal job of this match. Now, this match only went like 3 minutes. And yeah, so Ray, he hits like, goes for like a bunch of 619s, then he gets choke slammed. And then after Big Show wins, he's walking out, and then they're going to stretch her off Ray. And then this is like the craziest thing ever is that Big Show comes back out, grabs Ray, and just slams him across the ring post while he's in the gurney. And it's like, whoa. And he just slams and hits the ground. It's like, okay, splat. So yeah, this match is really, really memorable, even though it was really short. It's like one of the most just memorable things in all of wrestling is just watching that. You're like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Yeah. So this is interesting to talk about. In 2003, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. This is before John Cena even won a world championship. And this is just really interesting to see, like, just how young John Cena was. Now, this match here, it's so interesting because this is why it's so interesting. It was John Cena was like a brawler street thug in this versus Brock Lesnar, who's like a technical powerhouse. So yeah, John Cena was just like kicking and punching and slamming him into the ring steps and slamming Brock Lesnar all over the ring and stuff. And yeah, he didn't really hit like a lot of like pro wrestling moves. It was just punches and kicks. And then he'd hit his like bulldog and stuff. And what is it? I think he had a nice DDT on it. Was it a DDT? He hit some, yeah, because he didn't really have a lot of like offense at the time. This is before the days of Cena Can't Rana. So yeah, so it was really interesting. And then Brock, he just bled all over the place, and Cena just gets him in a chin lock, and Cena's got Brock's blood all over the side of his face. And yeah, this match here was really cool, all the way up until Cena goes to hit him with the chain, and then the ref stops him, and then Brock hits the F5 on him. Yeah, Cena, he looked really, really good here. And Brock, he got his ass kicked throughout this match. Very similar to the Extreme Rules 2013 match. Man, it's kind of funny how like the callbacks to this. Anyways, yeah. So Brock wins. He had some really cool technical moves in this, some cool power moves on Cena. Really cool to see the OVW guys giving it their all on a big pay-per-view like this. Really awesome to see that because they were really, really new. They've only were around for like 3 or 4 years at this point. So yeah. Next up, we had a 6-man tag match. I was about to say Evolution, but really it was just Triple H and Ric Flair teaming with Chris Jericho against Kevin Nash, Booker T, and Shawn Michaels. So going into this, I guess Shawn Michaels and Booker T and Kevin Nash, they're all on conflicting sides. And Kevin Nash, he didn't really know where he was going. And yeah, so Kevin Nash, he actually was really over in this. He got like a huge hot tag, and like the place went nuts for him after like Shawn Michaels got beat down throughout a lot of this match. And it's just so good to see HBK, like watching these old Shawn Michaels matches and stuff. Like, man, he was just so good. And like his ring attire when he came out, like that, it just looked super, super sick. And yeah, Booker T, he had an awesome spine buster on this. I want to say it was on Chris Jericho, but yeah. Early in the match, I should mention this too, is like Shawn Michaels, he had an awesome super kick back when the super kick was sick. And then Triple H came in and pedigreed him, and Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels are just like lying there all dead and stuff. And then like this match, it ends up with like a massive brawl on the outside with Triple H and Kevin Nash all the way to like that, like leads back to the inside. Actually, I can't remember who got pinned. I want to say it was Booker T who got pinned by, was it Chris Jericho or Triple H? I can't really remember who got the win, but it just had a really, really nuts ending. I think, yeah, it was Booker T who ate the pin. And yeah, and then like they're all like Kevin Nash and like Shawn Michaels, they're all like consoling him in the ring after. And yeah, this is another really, really good match. I really like this match. So pretty much everything on the card so far has been like really, really good and really fun. So yeah, moving on to the main event, and this is a main event that I think it's interesting with how big it is of a main event it is, and kind of how sad it is when you kind of look back on it. I know what you're going to say. Why is it so sad? Because I think this is like The Rock's second last match before he ultimately left for Hollywood, before 2011 when he came back to start the feud with John Cena. But this is actually kind of sad, like looking back on it, like, which is why it's like people need to stop being so hard on everything. And I think I've said this in previous videos, because it's like what's going on right now, it's not going to be around forever. And then you're going to look back on it and be like, wow, those were the days. And it was the days, because The Rock, he just cut this great promo before the match. And yeah, and it was really funny. And then he came out and he just acted like such a star, and he was just so cool. And I see why he was just mad over, and everyone really liked The Rock and really missed him. And in this match, he was like taunting Goldberg. He did the same thing at WrestleMania 19 with Steve Austin, and he just did everything in this match possible, like just left it all out there. And you could just tell like The Rock really, really loves wrestling. And yeah, this is just such a great match. And for Goldberg, he looked like a beast. Again, looked like absolute kill. Again, the Extreme Rules 2013. They looked like freaking gladiators out there, just killing machines. Like just two built dudes out on the front lines, just annihilating stuff. So yeah, again, there I go again, referencing a pay-per-view that happens 10 years later. Still relevant here. Well, obviously it would be relevant here. It was 2003. Anyways, but yeah, they both like just look like absolute killers. And Goldberg, he's got the greatest spear ever. I don't know anyone who has a better spear than Goldberg. And yeah, he goes for the spear on The Rock. The Rock moves, he hits the ring steps. The Rock kind of beats him down, gets him in the sharpshooter. I believe he hit a rock bottom, hit people's elbow, and Goldberg got out of those. And then he hits like two spears and a jackhammer on The Rock. And yeah, it set up Goldberg for the next year, all the way going into his feud with Triple H. So yeah, we'll be covering more and more of that as the months roll by. So stay tuned for next month when I review whatever. I think it's Judgment Day is the next 2003 pay-per-view. But anyways, yeah, this is, again, a really fun Ruthless Aggression era show. And yeah, just fun times to look back on, like the Here Comes the Pain era of WWE. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is, again, good show. I really enjoyed watching it. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm always having fun watching this stuff. Anyways, I'll catch you guys with my next video. So being that Backlash is going to be in Puerto Rico this year, why don't we review the last WWE pay-per-view to take place in Puerto Rico? Anyways, peace out, guys.